Jai Baba. Nothing is real but God. Nothing matters but love for God. God is the only reality. All else that seems real is illusory. God and I are one. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thanks to beloved Baba and Jai Baba to all of you. With Baba's supreme grace, we have been able to, I would say, almost complete reading one of the most important books of beloved Baba, and that is God Speaks. Baba had indicated time and again that to appease the intellectual convulsions of the human mind, he has given out these words. And although apparently they may seem to be difficult to digest, at least the forum here, the group here, as well as people who are watching or live as well as recorded versions, I'm sure they must have felt it quite easy to digest. We have got only one last chart to do, and that is chart number 8A. I am not sure whether, has he kept chart 8A on the screen? If he has not, then we will ask him to do that. Okay. All right. It's not done, so we are waiting for Naman to come and put chart 8, because unless the chart is seen on the screen, it may be difficult to understand. So as of now, we just have this chart to do, and then we are done with God Speaks. Later on, if we have time, and I think we will have time, I will try to recap only a few features of God Speaks, important aspects of God Speaks. Everything is important, but what I feel we can just revise, that we'll do later on. And from tomorrow onwards, we will start reading Beams from Meher Baba. Why Beams? Many people say, why don't you do Discourses or some other book? The point is that after the first edition of God Speaks came out, there were some queries, mainly from the editors themselves, Ivy Odius and Don Stevens. So they had a whole list of queries, questions concerning God Speaks, and they sent it across to Baba. And Baba, in his own way, in an essay form, with the help of Dr. C.D. Deshmukh, dictated the answers to those queries, and that formed a very small, tiny book actually called Beams from Meher Baba. It's a long name, Beams from Spiritual Panorama. But that book also is very, very profound. It's quite deep, and we need to discuss on that. So maybe from tomorrow onwards, we will do that. Can you put chart 8 on the screen, please? Ajit, you can take the book if you want to carry. Take a book from there so you will understand. So this chart 8A, you can sit with somebody so other people can also see. This chart 8A, again, is more or less a revision of the entire synopsis of starting from creation to evolution to reincarnation to involution and then finally realization. It summarizes the whole aspects of God Speaks. And that is on opposite page number 190. The chart is opposite page 190. So once you put that on the screen, Soumya will read out the explanation, and side by side you will have to see the chart and see how best we can understand. And after the chart is over, I will sort of throw open question answers on God Speaks. So those who have read it, those who have been here, those who have been following us online, they can ask questions. Yeah. They can even type out the questions, and I think we can read the questions here, isn't it? Naman, we can. If somebody punches in any query, then we can see if we can respond to that. So maybe, shall we start? Okay. The chart on page opposite 190, which is called chart 8A, is already on the screen, as well as with people who are following the book. Carry on. Samya, read.
Chart 8A, creation, evolution, reincarnation, involution and realization according to Meher Baba.
Okay, before we start, as always, I will just butt in for people who are new. When we talk about creation, we talk about the entire cosmos, which is created, which is illusory, which is nothing, but the nothingness of the nothing. We'll come to that. I know for people who are attending now for the first time, it may be a little difficult to understand. So that is creation, where the entire cosmos got created, apparently created. When we talk about evolution, Baba talks about evolution of consciousness. Because before creation, in the beyond state of God, when we do the chart, we'll come to know, that is the Paratpar Parbrahma state of God, or the Vara-ul Vara state of God, or Gaheb-ul Gaheb of God, where God is, but consciousness is not. So what is the point of being God and not being conscious of being God? And the only way God can know himself as God is through experiencing all that he is not. And neti, and just weed out, I am not this, I am not that, I am not this, I am not that, and finally experience the I am God state. Therefore, the evolution is the evolution of consciousness. Now, in order for the consciousness to evolve, it also requires a medium for evolution. And that medium is the form, or the body, or the bubble. So, in other words, evolution of form is just or nothing but a byproduct in the spiritual or divine factory of the evolution of consciousness. In other words, evolution of consciousness precedes and evolution of form follows. That is about evolution. Now, evolution is whole and complete, full, no further evolution in the first human form. After the human form is achieved or attained, there is no further evolution of consciousness. So the process now is called reincarnation. Reincarnation or Punarjanam is nothing but shedding the body, only the gross body, not the subtle and the mental body, shedding the body, experiencing the hell or heaven state depending upon your samskara, taking another body. Again experiencing, shedding, experiencing heaven and hell, taking another body. That process is called reincarnation, Punarjanam. After several reincarnations, Baba says 84 lakhs of such thrashings or reincarnation, now the gross consciousness of the soul becomes finer, thinner, weaker, feebler, you can say looser, and it converts itself or transforms itself into subtle conscious. So that is the involutionary process, going within ourselves, treading the spiritual path. The path to God realization is known as the involution. That is where involution comes in. Involution has 6 stations or 6 stages in duality, and the 7th, the junction, is realization. So the first line says creation, evolution, reincarnation, involution, and realization according to Meher Baba. Go ahead.
This chart, painted by Rano Gailey under the supervision of Meher Baba, is a pictorial version of the book God Speaks.
So it is concised in one chart. If you really study this chart, you might know much of what Baba talks about in God Speaks. Just as if you just study the 10 states of God, you get the synopsis of what Baba wants to say in God Speaks. Yeah, so you can open the chart. Whosoever has the book, opposite, no, it's not there. Oh, this must be then first edition. This must be, okay, sorry. This must be the first edition, sorry. All right. Or you can we turn this, can we turn this laptop so that people, they can just come a little this side or come, oh, no, then let it be, let it be. Okay, never mind. Don't fidget with it. This is, okay, I'll just show. I know it's not going to be, not going to be easy to understand without the chart.
Be careful.
All right. Go ahead, Soumya, go ahead. This chart,
God in the beyond state represents God as pure essence, infinite, original and eternal, unaware of anything, even of himself. God is.
I'll repeat the first paragraph. In the chart on the top, God in the beyond state. It is also called Paratpar Parbrahma state. In Sufi terminology, it is called Vara-ul Vara state or Gaheb-ul Gaheb state. God in the beyond state represents God as pure essence, infinite, original and eternal, unaware of anything, even of himself. That means here we say God is, that's all, God is, nothing beyond that, God is. Now Baba elsewhere explains that this is the exact same state of consciousness that we go into every single time we have what is known as sound sleep or deep sleep state. When we go into sound sleep, not dream, not this awake state, false awake state, sound sleep state. In sound sleep state, I am, but the consciousness that I am is not there. So actually, I am in the state of the beyond God state every time I go to a sound sleep state. So nice to know that we are never ever separated from God. We can never be separated from God. We are in actually, it is not something like, somewhat like, as if, close to this or near to this. No, it is actually, we are in the beyond state of God, as Baba explains, state 1 of God, whenever we go into sound sleep state. That means we are God. But there is no consciousness that I am God. So the whole of the Jamela is to consciously know about the sound sleep state. There's a dichotomy. How can I be conscious in unconsciousness? So that is the whole game, that if you are conscious in that state, then you are God realized. Then you are one, then you experience yourself as one with God. So that was the first paragraph, where you can only say God is. There is that capital I, capital S, God is. Next.
God in the beyond state represents the oversoul, Paramatma, essentially the same as God in the beyond state, except that here surged the whim to know himself, and he became conscious of infinite power, knowledge and bliss, and simultaneously conscious of illusion, which manifested as the creation. By completing his journey through the worlds of forms, he sheds the illusion of their apparent reality.
So, may I show that other. Achha. Now I would like to also direct you to chart 8, which is opposite page 159. So when you simultaneously see this, it becomes a little more easy to understand. Sorry? No, because here if you see, yeah, correct. See, because here Baba talks about the beyond state of God, which is state 2 of God, which gets, let's say, produced by the beyond state of God, which is exactly the same as the beyond state of God, except that the beyond state of God is the most original vacuum state, whereas the beyond state of God is the original vacuum state where something is possible. In the beyond state, nothing is possible. In the beyond state, something is possible. So if you see chart 8 simultaneously, in the beyond state of God, there are 3 substates. There are 3 substates. Substate 2A, which represents infinite unconsciousness, or sorry, infinite illusion. I know it's difficult for people who have come for the first time. Infinite ignorance. And from infinite ignorance, it's Paramatma. From infinite ignorance, it is a little, yeah. You go through state 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry? Yes, darling. Yes, darling. But he is talking straight about Paramatma having.
Go to this chart. See the gaseous form, the tumors.
No, darling. That is, he is talking. See, I'll just, Soumya wants me to say, in the beyond state represents the oversoul Paramatma. But here in this chart, Baba does not show that Paramatma has got 3 states, state 2A, 2B and 2C. So that he is not saying. So here he says Paramatma, essentially the same as God in the beyond state, except that here surged the whim to know himself. The whim is the hooky. The whim is, we can say, a shrug. The whim is the lahar. The whim is the primal force, the primal word, who am I? So here surged who am I, and from that who am I, the entire creation started. So that is what Baba is trying to convey, that it started from the Paramatma state A and ended in Paramatma state, that is 2A, and then it went through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it got the experience of Aham Brahmasmi, or it got the experience of I am God state, or Anal Haq, or Soham, only in the state 8. Now, unless you followed, and for those who are genuinely interested in knowing the in-depth, I would suggest that you can go through the Trust's website, where today we are doing 42nd session number 42. So obviously for people who have come for the first time, you can't understand what we are talking about. But whatever it is, if you are genuinely interested, you can always see the sessions one after the other and take more and more grip of what Baba is trying to convey. Okay, now you continue, Soumya, with 8.
I read the paragraph.
Okay, I'll read this.
Yeah, please.
No, I think you better stay here only. Better stay here only. 8. No, sweet. What I am trying to convey is the stone, metal, minerals, vegetables come only after state 4, when it is an embodied soul. Whereas here we are trying to, Baba is trying to concise it. So let's go ahead. So we go ahead. I think we stick, it might create a little confusion. So we'll stick to this chart and then we'll throw open the question answers. If anybody has anything to ask, we'll do. Okay, go ahead. God in the beyond state. Why don't you? Okay, I'll read the second one. Let me read. God in the beyond state, it is not beyond the beyond state, which is the first state, represents the oversoul Paramatma, essentially the same as God in the beyond state, except that here surged the whim to know himself. The whim cannot surge in the beyond state, but it was latent in the beyond state, and the only place from which it can manifest when the latency converts into manifestation, was in the beyond state, right? And that he became conscious of the infinite power, knowledge, and bliss. Now he became conscious not just by coming to the Paramatma state. He had to pass through the entire, rigmarole of state 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he became conscious of infinite power, infinite knowledge, and infinite bliss. These are the three attributes. When you experience the I am God state, you experience infinite knowledge, power, and bliss. And simultaneously, conscious of illusion which manifested as a creation. Baba has put this very concised, because infinite knowledge, power, and bliss is experienced in the very first state of Fanafila. But now Baba says here, you also become conscious of the illusion that is not in Fanafila, that is in the Turiya Avastha, which is the Salukiyat and Paramhamsas and all that. So he has concised it too much here, so may be difficult for newcomers to understand. And simultaneously conscious of illusion which manifested as creation. By completing his journey through the world of forms, he sheds the illusion of their apparent reality. Today, we are in illusion, and for us, this is all a reality. This is all a reality. But Baba says this is all an illusion, which we will be able to know only when we experience the I am God state. Reading counterclockwise. Okay.
Reading counterclockwise, the first forms taken by souls emanating from the creation point are gaseous.
So you can see in the chart gaseous. The first creation is that of gases, gas.
As consciousness evolves, souls take the innumerable forms indicated, experiencing increasing impressions, sanskaras. Arriving at the state of man, the soul has achieved complete consciousness and reincarnates innumerable times until it is ready to experience involution, all of which takes place while embodied in the gross world.
Okay, now let us see the chart. You can see there are gaseous forms, there are stone, metals, vegetables, worms, insects and reptiles, fish, bird, animal, and then finally human form. And you will see that there are these twists, what are known, Baba calls it winding samskaras. We are winding, winding, winding and winding. And in the human form, there is a long line of people standing in the queue. This human form is reincarnation. There we are constantly reincarnating. And then the twist is ulta, which means now it is unwinding. You can see the unwinding twist. It's in the other way around, not winding, where you go through the subtle plane. In the subtle plane, Baba talks about the big green circle, where there are 4 planes: first plane, second plane, third plane, and fourth plane. These are the planes of energy. Should I stop, Naman? Continue. These are the planes of energy, or what is also known as the subtleness, where you get lots of powers, lots of riddhi-siddhi, you can create miracles, you can give life to dead animals, fish, bird, and on the fourth plane, which is the highest plane you can see, you can create new life. You can create universes. You can bring back dead people alive. That is the power available on the fourth plane. Then we get to the blue circle, which is the 5th plane and the 6th plane. On the 6th plane, you see that is called the mental sphere or the mental world. On the 6th plane, you see the eye. That eye is the divine eye, the spiritual eye, the third eye, the inner eye. You can call it what. With that eye, you are able to see God, in a sense, face to face. That is, that particular plane, 6th plane person is known as a peer. And the one who is on the 5th plane, he is known as a wali. And the entire, 5th plane is called the mental world, where they can control the thoughts and the feelings. The 5th planer will control the thoughts, communicate thoughts, read thoughts of anybody anywhere in the universe. He can read thoughts. And on the sixth plane, it is the same with the feeling. So that sixth plane is known as the plane of illumination. You are an illuminated soul, but you still feel that there is an abyss or a valley between you and God. You are having the feeling of seeing God in everyone and everything. Wherever you turn, you only see God, but you are separate from God. You are not yet one with God. So from the sixth to the seventh, when you go, that is the final jump, or that is called realization, or the experiencing of the Aham Brahmasmi state. Samya, read.
While getting free of sanskaras, the ascending soul gradually becomes aware of the seven planes and higher spheres until it is liberated from all bindings and becomes one with God, God realized. The first three
So,
planes.
एक minute. So, Baba says, while getting free of samskaras, so I'll just go a little backwards. As we evolve from gas to stone to metal to minerals to plants to insects, worms, reptiles, fish, bird, animals, we have accumulated mountain loads of impressions or samskaras. They are called samskaras. And in the human form, you use samskaras, you experience samskaras, you expend or spend samskaras, as well as you accumulate samskaras. In the process of evolution, you only accumulate. In the process of human being, you spend and accumulate. This happens. And now, in the involutionary process, which is when you are treading the spiritual path, you are unwinding your samskaras. That's why Baba says, while getting free of samskaras, you are now getting free of samskaras. The ascending soul gradually becomes aware of the seven planes and higher spheres until it is liberated from all bindings and become one with God, until it becomes God realized. So, intrinsically, at the core level, in reality, there is nothing but God. So, in short, we all are also God. Baba himself says that I am telling you, you are Ishwar, you are God. But we are God plus the bondage of samskaras or impressions. And in the process of unwinding the samskaras, what happens is you don't bring in God from somewhere and say, I am God. You are already God. You simply remove the unwanted portion which is not required, and automatically you realize that I am God. The oft repeated example that we know of is of a sculptor. When a sculptor wants to sculpt an image, murti, he brings in a marble, and what does he do? He only chips off the unwanted portion, and the image of whosoever, Ganesha, Lord Buddha, Meher Baba, it is already there. He never had to bring anything from outside and topify it in order to make the head or the hand or something. It was already there. In the same way, Baba says, you all are God. Everyone and everything is God. Only thing is, we are God plus the impressions, which is the samskaras, which is nothing but the heirloom, what we have collected through is to throw away what we are not. And that is why Baba says that spirituality is not a gathering or amassing or taking something from outside. It is not something that we amass from without. Without means from outside. It is an unfoldment from within. And this unfoldment takes place as we eradicate and throw away what we are not. So that is what Baba explains.
The first three planes depict subtle awareness. The fourth portrays the vast powers and energies encountered there. The fifth is the plane of sainthood and is in the mental sphere. The sixth is the plane of illumination And the seventh is the plane of God realization, that is, unity with God.
So the involutionary journey, this is a word which is not there in the dictionary. We involve, not evolve. We have already evolved. Now we are going within ourselves. And when does that happen? When the flashlight of our consciousness is now all the time without, outside. Everything is happening in the world. Gradually, with the gross samskaras becoming fainter and weaker and looser and feebler, this flashlight which is showing outside gradually turns within. We start looking within ourselves.
And get involved with God. That is involution.
Sorry?
You get involved with
Okay, we get involved in God. Soumya is prompting me to say. You could have said it on the mic. No? Okay, we are always involved with God. In fact, God is so much involved with us, that yeah, we are always involved. But here now we are more conscious of, we are less conscious of the gross. The gross does not attract us. The gross does not irritate us, does not agitate us, does not call for any reaction from us, because we have already now had enough of gross. Gross means sthul, external, outside, what we see as matter. Everything, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You are so much in a state of poise, in a state of equanimity, in a state of acceptance, in a state of non-irritation, in a state of non-reaction, and the flashlight gradually turns. That is involution. You start seeing within yourself. And the first three planes are purely in the subtle sphere. That is involution, as I said. The moment you enter are all at the borderline of subtle sphere, you may be able to use your gross senses in order. Baba calls it a breeze or a hawa. You can see some sights which are not very familiar, gross. You can hear some tinkling. Nobody else can hear. The person sitting next to you will not be able to hear. But you will be able to hear and get a glimpse of what is in the subtle. And then once you are in the subtle world, you see, in the subtle sphere, you can see in the first plane, there are 4 planes in the subtle sphere, first, second, third, fourth. That is known as Pahli Bhumika, second Bhumika, third Bhumika, fourth. There's a difference between Bhumika and Bhuvan. Bhuvan is the sphere or the world. The Bhuvan is the subtle, Shukshma. But in the Shukshma Bhuvan, or in the subtle world, or in the subtle sphere, there are 4 stages, which are the Bhumikas. In the first, when you enter, what happens? We have got 5 senses. We all know what the 5. There are 2 senses will go away, which means the sense of touch and the sense of taste. So as long as you are able to taste mirchi or since there are more Bawajis, I can say dhansag, machino patio. At the more, if you are able to really taste it, that means many people ask, I am on which plane I am, what do you think I am on which plane, So you just pinch somebody, and if he says, ouch, ouch, that means you are still in the gross because you are able to feel. Or give the person a mirchi to eat, chong, 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 and if so, oh, it's very hot. In other words, as you enter the subtle world, you let go your sense of taste and your sense of touch. That's what Baba said. And as you progress gradually, other senses also go away, physical senses. But there are at the back of the physical senses, spiritual senses. So you will still be able to hear and still be able to smell, but with a different nose and with a different ear. You see, you will get celestial music, Baba calls it, or some aroma which is out of the world. And that is how you progress. And when you go from the subtle world to the mental world, Baba calls it sainthood. In the very first, the 5th plane, the 4th planer is known as the Mahayogi. He is also called a Kuber. He is the holder of all the powers. He can do anything. And that is the only place from where you can fall down, and once again you have to start the journey from the stone state. In many scriptures, it is written that if you lead a very wrong life, a very bad life as a human being, you will be born as a donkey or as a pig or as a dog or as something, Baba says that consciousness is only progressive. You can never go back to the earlier it is only age, going forward, moving forward. The only exception to this rule is the fourth plane, where the Kuber or the Mahayogi misuses his powers, then he can go back to the stone state and have to come back again. But Baba says it's a rarity. It very rarely happens like that, because people who are on the above, the fifth and the sixth, and the Sadguru or the perfect masters, they are always keeping a watch on that mischief monger, that if he's trying to do something, they will snatch away the powers or push him down to the third or pull him up on the fifth, or that way. So it's a very rare occurrence, Baba says. It has happened in the past, but it's a very rare occurrence where a person who can misuse the powers of the fourth plane. When you go to the fifth plane, then there is no power. You are progressing, but there is no power, because that sphere is not of energy, is not of power, it is of mind. So that person on the fifth plane can control the mind, control the thoughts of everybody, can manipulate thoughts, can read thoughts. Sitting here, a person on the fifth plane can read somebody who is far away in England, America, Australia, what that one particular soul is thinking about. He can do that. Similarly, for feelings on the sixth plane, and then from 6 to 7 is from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, from dream state to the awake state, from Dvaita, which is duality, to unity or Advaita. So that is the final state where that particular soul experiences I am God state. So basically that the whole of this book covers very beautifully and very much in minutest details about the journey of one single soul. Is like a biography of how that soul gets created, apparently separated from the Paramatma, because there's a chapter where in chapter 4, I believe, part 4, where Baba says, Atma in reality is Paramatma. There's no difference between Atma and Paramatma. It's an apparent difference created because of the ignorance, the illusion. So with this, have you read? With this, we have actually completed the entire God Speaks, which we started sometime in October 2023. Now, for those who have already read God Speaks or who have been following this reading on the site, on the website of the Trust, if you have any questions, please ask. Okay, Soumya wants me to read this particular thing. What is it? Can you read it? Yeah, please.
If you look at the chart,
includes gross sphere. The gross sphere.
The first is formless and colorless and impulsive, God's creative imagination.
No,
To know himself as omnipotent, omnipresent, infinite and eternal. This is the whole creation. Here we have God in the beyond state, which progresses to beyond state of God, and from there, in the red you can see the red.
The creation comes up.
Which demarcates. That's gross sphere, in which Baba writes over here, every aspect in this has been minutely checked by Baba. Even the color schemes have been given by Baba to Rano Gheli. So it is that beautiful, the light and the dark shades, the colors. In fact, when we come to it, I'll just share. Here it says, gross sphere includes countless suns, stars, moons, and the earth, on which only it is possible to attain God realization. We start from the gaseous forms. If you see the colors which are so vibrant, then we come to stones. We are winding sanskaras to metals, vegetation, and there are certain vegetation that are depicted coming to worm, insect and reptile. Then the specifics, like if you see the toad, which is between the land and water, because the next after worm is fish. So the turtle, all those aspects of advancing stream of life is depicted in this chart. Then the fishes and the various types of fishes. Next comes in the bird kingdom. But crow seems very predominant between bird and animal. It's jutting out. Animal, human. Now in human, the last one, Baba went so much as to even, the green and the brown, he was very specific. So he made that color palette for Rano to paint that aspirant. If you see, these are all winding sanskaras. Then we get into involution. See the colors that are written: evolution in red, reincarnation in green, then he goes to involution in light blue, which subtle sphere, even those little, whatever marks on the horizon of the aspirant there also definitely has a meaning. So there is first plane, second plane, third plane, and the cusp, the fourth plane between, which is the threshold between the mental and the subtle. Fifth plane, sixth plane, mental sphere. Here it is God, seeing God, and then realization. On the seventh plane, God realization of himself as infinite. So this is, if you look at the chart, it's so drowning, at least for me, it is so beautiful and vibrant. Thank you, Baba, for the chart.
What Soumya is trying to convey is that Baba had invested himself in this chart by actually going very minutely into the color shades as well. Right? Anybody has any questions to ask? Yeah, please. I would love to have questions because we still have a lot of time and we are through with this. Otherwise, I can always revisit it very briefly, but then let's see.
I had this question since I was a kid. So, where do you think on this is the Om point?
Om point.
The Om point is the creation point.
Yeah.
So,
in the
on
beyond,
this chart.
in the beyond state of God, in the beyond state of God.
Comes. But actually, it starts from here.
Where the gases come out
gases are coming out. You can see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Where the
That
gases.
is the nothingness.
Om point
Yeah.
is the same
Of the
as the
nothing.
creation point, which is a finite point in the beyond state of God. And through that finite point, what oozed out is the nothingness of, now we'll go into that, is the nothingness of the nothing, which was latent in the everything. And since everything is infinite, therefore nothingness also is infinite, and therefore the creation kept on expanding. Baba uses the word ad infinitum. Today scientists are seeing that there are universes after universes are just coming out and they are huge. Our earth is nothing, just a dot, you see, in the entire cosmos. And why is it infinite? I think last time we did that God is infinite in His oneness, whereas creation is infinite in its multiplicity or manyness. So it keeps on infinite. Even now as we are talking, it's infinitely being produced. And where does it accommodate? It is accommodated in space. And what is space? Space is the shadow of God. And since God is infinite, His shadow is also infinite. So in other words, we did it last time, there is no shortage of space in space. There may be shortage of space everywhere else, but it keeps on. It is mind-boggling. It is not even mind-boggling, it's beyond our imagination as to how huge the shadow of God, which is space, is. And so we can imagine how huge, how vast, okay, how vast it is. So you got your own point. Okay. Anybody has any question? Yeah.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। बोलो।
सर, जैसे जैसे हम पढ़ते गए बचपन से, गॉड स्पीक्स मुझे पढ़ने का मौका बहुत बाद में मिला बाबा के आशीर्वाद से। सनातना एक्सप्लेन करता है नेति नेति की कुछ बातें आती हैं, या फिर उपनिषद में ऑन एंड ऑफ कुछ बातें पता चलती हैं। मेरा खुद का व्यक्तिगत क्वेश्चन बचपन से था कि मैं कौन हूँ, मैं किस लिए पैदा हो गया। जब मैंने गॉड स्पीक्स में उस चीज़ को पढ़ा कि एक हुई माता है कि जहाँ पे गॉड को पहले जैसे नहीं एक 3 टर्म है इसमें जिस पे आप प्रकाश डालिएगा, इवोल्यूशन, इन्वोल्यूशन एंड रीइंकारनेशन। तो बाबा उस चीज़ को सेटल डाउन करते हुए आगे आगे बढ़ते हैं। तो क्या बियॉन्ड स्टेट को मैं नेति से वो कर सकता हूँ, क्या उसी का रिजेम्बलेंस है?
Let me answer. When you come out, you come out from the beyond state, not the beyond state, because beyond state में कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता है. And when you return up only up to the beyond state. Beyond state में आप अगर गए वापस तो आप ऑलरेडी वैसे भी आप beyond state में every day you are going when you go in the sound sleep state. But if you want to go into the beyond state with consciousness, you can do that only up to the beyond state, which is state आपने पढ़ी है इसलिए मैं बोल state 2B. State 2B जो है वहाँ you can go and enjoy infinitely, infinite knowledge, power and bliss in the beyond state, not in the beyond state. That's why Baba says कि जो जिसने आत्म साक्षात्कार प्राप्ति की है, अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, I am God state अचीव किया है, अगर if he wants to explain to somebody what is it, he can only go up to the beyond state and not the beyond state. So you never go back. All those who have realized God, they do not again go in the beyond state, because beyond state is a state of unconsciousness, and after achieving consciousness, those souls never experience unconsciousness. They are always conscious. That's why even Baba, we know, his sleep was a conscious sleep. He was conscious in his sleeping. Many examples are there. We know about stories about Baba would be snoring and Baba said, no, I was not at all asleep. I know what was happening. I can never get into unconscious state again. If he becomes unconscious, then there is a pralay. The entire creation is sucked in. We call it Mahapralay. A small is known as a pralay. So, to answer your question, another thing, you said ke, neti, that's what we said, neti, I am not this, I am not that. It's a weeding out. Cut, me nahi. That is why Baba had given a prayer to Mandli to be recited for a short period of time, which went something like this. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not this, I am not that. I am nothing but a living lie of that truth. And that is me. And thank you. And unless the lie is dead, the truth cannot be. So in other words, the lie that I am has to die in order that the truth can prakat itself or manifest itself. So neti, I agree. Now you talked about मेरे में वो who am I का बचपन से था, who am I, मैं कौन हूँ, मैं क्यों. That who am I which was in the ocean of the beyond state, right? Latent था. वो beyond state में manifest हो गया. और beyond state में when the creation took place, there was a halchal in the ocean and millions and millions of drops got formed. And what is a drop in the ocean? A drop is an entity which is covered by a bubble. So वो जो who am I जो ocean में था, that got transplanted into each and every individualized drop soul. So you and I and everything in creation is still carrying that who am I, and unless it is answered, the evolution will go on, the involution will go on, and it will end only with realization. And the correct answer is I am God. जब तक वो नहीं पहुँचेंगे तब तक सब एक एक बूंद के अंदर वो who am I का जो राज है वो चलते रहेगा. Did I answer your question?
इसमें सिर्फ एक चीज़ और बच रही है जो मैंने अपने गॉड स्पीक्स को पढ़ने के दौरान मैंने फील किया. जो एक टर्म आता है इवोल्यूशन, शुरुआत के ही चैप्टर नंबर 1-2 के उसमें, और फिर चलती है बात री इनकारनेशन पे, और फिर आ जाती बात इन्वोल्यूशन पे. ओसिन का एग्जाम्पल बाबा ने लिया है कि ओसिन के अंदर बात आती है, तो क्या समष्टिगत तौर पे क्या ये इवोल्यूशन काउंट किया जाएगा कि संपूर्णता जो भाग पा रही है, जैसे एक तो मैं बैठा हूँ आपके सामने,
I think just keep the mic a little away, हाँ, because थोड़ा echo होता है, हाँ.
जैसे अब आई आवाज़ मेरी, एम आई ओके? इवोल्यूशन का जो शब्द जहाँ से मैंने देखा उसको, क्या ये समष्टिगत है, मतलब कंप्लीट के लिए यूज किया जा रहा है?
हाँ हाँ, अब अगर वो चार्ट है जिसमें बाबा एवोल्यूशन क्या होता है, वो
Evolution starts from the gases
हाँ.
and ends at the first human form.
बट एवोल्यूशन में बाबा एक और चीज़ साथ साथ, आप अगर चार्ट क्योंकि आपने पढ़ा है, आप देखेंगे वो सटल और मेंटल वर्ल्ड्स साथ साथ धीरे 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 डेवलप होता है. तो एवोल्यूशन बहुत ज़रूरी है और हर एवोल्यूशन का ये हिस्सा है कि मेरा जैसे कॉम्प्लेक्स मेरा संस्कार बनता है, वैसे ही कॉम्प्लेक्स मेरा अगला फॉर्म बनेगा. और जो श्रेणी, जो 6-7 श्रेणी में जो बाबा ने उसको रखा है, तो वो एवोल्यूशन का हिसाब से ही रखा है, क्योंकि उस हिसाब से वो हर भूमिका का वो डेवलप होते जाता है. तो जो आपका सवाल
What
है,
she's trying to convey is, as consciousness evolves, not only the gross form are evolving, gross यानी शरीर, body, bubble, बुलबुले, also the subtle body and the mental body are also continuously becoming evolved till the first human form. In the first human form, not only the gross body is complete, but even the subtle and the mental body, all the three bodies are complete. उसके आगे there is no evolution
तो
at all.
एवोल्यूशन का वो
Evolution stops there.
सबक
उसके
वो
बाद में
है
reincarnation होता है.
इसमें एक प्रश्न आता है कि वो सबसे पहला मनुष्य कौन है जिसने की ये यात्रा की होगी?
Okay, that part is not a part of God speaks. So I will not, but off the record I can say that the first one to achieve, you call it by any name, you know, there's a lot of, I would call him Meher Baba, because he is the one who became the first one to achieve. अभी आज की तारीख में वो हमको जो लेबल लगाया है वो मेहर बाबा, फिर आप गणेशा बोलो, शिव जी बोलो, जो भी बोलो, you know, because he is the first one who made it and he is the only one who is responsible. तो वो अवतारी रूप में हर दम वो ही आता है, whether it is Zarathustra, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, Meher Baba, these are only 7 names which are prominent in this cycle of time. किसी ने ऐसे ही पूछा था अभी ये साइकिल ऑफ टाइम में हम ज़रथुस्त्र, जिसको ज़ोरेस्टर बोलते हैं, किसी ने बाबा को पूछा था, वॉज ही द फर्स्ट प्रॉफिट, वॉज द फर्स्ट अवतार, वॉज द फर्स्ट मैसेंजर ऑफ गॉड, फर्स्ट सन ऑफ गॉड, यू नो, फर्स्ट मसीहा, फर्स्ट रसूल, वॉट एवर नेम यू कैन कॉल इट, फर्स्ट. बाबा से नहीं, ऐसे तो हज़ारों ज़ोरेस्टर हो गए और हज़ारों होएंगे. सो व्हेन वी टॉक ऑफ इटर्निटी, इट इज़ सो वास्ट कि वी कैन नॉट इमेजिन. ओके.
हाँ, ये इवोल्यूशन पे मुझे अपने डाउट क्लियर हुए. अब रीइंकारनेशन और उसके साथ जुड़े इवोल्यूशन पे आप मुझे, जैसे अब मैं बैठा हूँ, मैं आपसे बातें कर रहा हूँ और मेरे ही अंदर वो बात चल रही कि हाँ कुछ है जो मैं नहीं जानता, तो ये मेरे नहीं जानने को जानने की यात्रा में क्या कन्वर्ट किया जा रहा है, वो जो प्रोसेस है वही इवोल्यूशन है.
See, when you say that I don't know, that means you know that you don't know. पहली बात तो ये हो गई. And there is, you are in the process of knowing. So it's a progress. It's a progress. Many people don't even know that they don't know. आप समझे ना? मुझे मालूम ही नहीं है कि मुझे मालूम नहीं है. आपको तो कम से कम मालूम है कि मुझे मालूम नहीं. So that is a progress. And that is how you go from absolute darkness to slight darkness to little light and then full light.
ये आपका इस शरीर में आपका जो मोल्ड लेके आए हैं, वो मोल्ड के हिसाब से आपको लगता है कि आपने कितना कुछ प्राप्त किया होगा, जो आपका ये ब्रेन को पता नहीं होगा, लेकिन आपका संस्कार को पता है, और उस हिसाब से वो आपका मतलब चूज करते हैं कि क्या कैसे आपका प्रगति होगा. प्रगति तो है, ऑल ऑफ रीइंकार्नेट जो भी आप इसमें देखो, प्रगति की और ही है. प्रगति कहाँ के लिए? टू नो आई एम गॉड. वो आंसर की तरफ दौड़ता है. हम लोग स्पीड में, बुलेट ट्रेन की स्पीड से भी तेज़ हमारा रफ्तार है. इसीलिए जब हम जब मरते हैं, जो हम स्टडी होता है ना, तब हम चूज़ करते हैं कि मैं जितना जल्दी मेरा जो मैंने गलत सही जो भी किया उसका मैं कैसे बैलेंस करके मैं भगवान को प्राप्त करूं। उसका एक तो उदाहरण रावण का दिया है कि वो
let's not go
वो
off
प्राप्त
the
करना
record.
चाहती थी और उन्होंने कैसा विरोध भक्ति को चुना कि उतना जल्दी मैं भगवान को पा लूं। तो हमारा सबका प्रयास, हम कॉन्शियस नहीं है, ये किताब से हमको वो बाबा वो प्रकाश देते हैं कि ये है हमारा जर्नी और ऐसा है, और जितना जल्दी और कितना हम बाबा को हमारा कांस्टेंट कंपेनियन करेंगे उतना जल्दी हमारा गति और भी डबल स्पीड में जाएगा।
Anyone else? Any questions?
My last question.
हाँ जी।
I am fortunate one. I got the place where अवतार। लेकिन गॉड स्पीक्स के जरिए जैसा मैंने पढ़ा या जाना उसमें कि आपको या तो अगर आपको जानना है तो आपको इधर उधर भटकने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, या तो आप अवतार के पास जाओ या फिर सदगुरु के पास। 5 सदगुरुओं का जिक्र आता है। मुझे उस पर थोड़ा सा डाउट है कि जैसे सपोज़ एक टाइम पे बाबा ने बोला उनके 5 सदगुरु, और फिर पता चलता है कि साईं बाबा ने शरीर त्यागा, उपासनी महाराज। ये प्रेजेंट टाइम पे कैसे पता चलेगा कि वो 5 सदगुरु कौन है?
एक मिनट सर। पहली बात तो पता चलने की ज़रूरत क्या है? When we are in the love orbit of the अवतार, अवतार इज द इटर्नल लिविंग परफेक्ट मास्टर। उसका अर्थ ये है कि अवतार शरीर में है या शरीर में नहीं है, वो हमारे लिए परमानेंट सदगुरु के जैसा है। इज अ इटर्नल लिविंग परफेक्ट मास्टर। नोबडी कैन मेक आउट कि भाई कौन सदगुरु है कौन नहीं है। ये तो बाबा ने बताया, इसलिए हम जान सकते हैं कि भाई ये सदगुरु है, अदरवाइज वी वोंट नो। एंड बाबा वॉज वेरी वेरी स्पेसिफिक कि जब आप हमारे पास आ गए हो तो आपको यहाँ वहाँ भटकने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। नाउ यू जस्ट सरेंडर टू मी, आई एम रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर एवरीथिंग अबाउट यू। So person, if you ask me who are the Sadgurus, I would say I don't know, but I would go one sentence more. Why do I need to know? I don't need to know. Thank you, Baba. समझ गए ना?
Cyrus, I have one question.
Please.
You told the 5 senses are there. Once you go to the first plane, the 2 senses go away, but there is spiritual, this sense come, whatever you call it. Yeah.
There are subtle senses also back to our physical senses.
So what are they?
So अपना जैसा physical है वो हिसाब से।
Like how when you can just to give you an idea, when you go to sleep, you are dreaming, and in the dream you are having visions, you are speaking, you are hearing, all those faculties of the 5 senses is undertaken in a dream. What is that? That is
In other words, you are using subtle senses subconsciously, whereas people who are in the subtle world will use those senses consciously. यानी आप सोए हो, आँख बंद है, but still you can see that way. So there are subtle senses, and I am not in the subtle world, so I can't explain much about what are the subtle senses and the mental senses. Yeah. Yeah, कैसे बोलो?
Jai Baba.
जय बाबा।
I'm trying to understand in what, where do I locate myself in the evolution?
At the moment you are in admin hall of MPR.
And
That is your location.
And you are a lovely human being who has got to know
Okay,
Baba.
my main question is, what's the difference between soundless sleep, wherein I don't get any message from God?
There is
Whereas-
no soundless sleep. I have not said anything about soundless sleep. I said
Soundless,
sound sleep.
sound sleep.
Sound sleep means
There is no dreams.
nothing. You are not, you are breathing, you are alive, your heartbeat is going on, everything is going on, but you are not conscious of yourself. That is the sound sleep state or deep sleep state, where
So-
you are, but the consciousness that you are is not there. At that time you are actually merged in God, in the beyond state of God.
But then on the other hand, when I'm dreaming and I get, I foresee certain events upcoming, some kind of warning. Even some long back, I had seen prehistoric animals, you know, Or even I've seen a dream where I was in heaven and I saw some different kind of plants and whatnot. So why do I see so many dreams day to day, practically every day? And then nature's language is such that I cannot interpret until that event has taken place.
See, first of all, when people were many times asked about the interpretation of these dreams, Baba would simply say, okay, first of all, this entire creation is a dream. And you are seeing a dream within a dream. So what is the importance of it? It's all an illusion, nothing to be given importance to. But what are dreams? That Baba says that some dreams can only come, see, unless and until you have some impressions or samskaras, you cannot dream about those things, correct? That means somewhere down the line, may not be in this life, but several lifetimes before, something must have happened, something you must have experienced, and that has been embedded, embossed in your subconscious mind as samskaras or impression. And they are just manifesting themselves because they can't manifest in real life. You can't see a dinosaurs in a real life now. So they are manifesting in your dream state because there are impressions. So Baba says that any dream that you see has a basis of impressions and which is mostly material in nature. It is all connected with the world, worldly things.
What about the upcoming events that I see day to day?
See, in Baba's literature, Baba, not, yes, I think it was in this only, what we call as premonition, what we call as something to happen. Well, Baba explains it very differently, and which is, I have expressed my inability to understand that with some authority, where Baba says in reality, there is nothing like past, present and future. In reality, there is no such thing as past, present and future. There is only the eternal now. Everything is happening in the now. That is what Baba says. I think about 2 turns before that I had expressed my possibility that it is not that it is not that time is passing by. Past, present, future. It is not that. Time is constant, present. It is we who are passing through time. So everything is constant, and the example that I had given, I don't know how far it is valid, invalid, it is just my imagination. We used to have that when we used to go for Mela fair. There was the chakadi, that this thing was, the cup is there, and there is a chakadi where the horses are there. And you just turn it, and then it turns and stops at a particular place and all that. So this just imagination, I am saying, nothing to do with God speaks, let me confess. That means everything is happening now, that means everything is already in the present, and you are passing through that, and through some whether you call it extrasensory perceptions or through error, you happen to see what is in your future which actually is present. Am I making some sense? And therefore you get that premonition and you feel that, oh, and then that thing happens tomorrow, day after, or whatever it is. You say, oh, I have already seen this. But that means the time is not, you are constant. That is why Baba says, all of your past and all of your apparent future is already happening in the now. That is why it is called eternal now, present.
I
This
understand.
is my imagination. It is not from God's speech. Let me also confirm.
Yes, I understand. But what about some kind of intervention from some divine soul? Say some grandmother of mine, for example. I saw a very powerful light, which it was very blinding light. So I understood that she came to like bless me. Why this kind of thing happens?
See, the point is, when somebody had asked Baba about something which was extraordinary, how does it happen with the... And Baba simply smiled and said, everything is possible in illusion. Whatever you experience is an illusion. It may be, you can say, an illusion which may help you to proceed further in life. You know, what I would say, anyway, last time, in the last session, sorry? In last session I had said, except for the experience of the I am God state, that experience, all other experiences are in the domain of illusion, and they do not have any, you can say, importance in terms of spirituality. The importance is what we give to that impression. You know, like I am taking a bath and all of a sudden I see an image of Baba on the toilet, on the bathroom. It is imagination. It is there. Now, if it is helping me to feel, somebody asked what is life? Somebody asked what is life, and the answer was, what is the meaning of life? The answer is, life itself has no meaning. It is the meaning that you give to life that it takes that meaning. So if I give that meaning, that Baba is showing his presence to me, so I should not be afraid about anything, I should be courageous, I should be bold, Baba is always with me, he is showing that his presence is there, it is good, it is helping me to go closer to the truth. But if on the other hand I said, अरे मेरे toilet में आया और किसके bathroom में नहीं आया, so I am somebody great, and I start taking photographs and circulating to people and tell people, come see, then the whole purpose is lost. So life itself has no meaning. It is the meaning that you give to life that makes all the difference, whether you are going to proceed further towards the truth or you are going to aggrandize your own self by saying, oh, I got this vision, or I got this, and I got. There are many who would, take photographs and circulate and say that, see, this is. It is true that the image has come, there is no doubt. But what is the meaning? Such things used to happen during Baba's lifetime also. And Baba, people would say that I saw this vision and that vision and some light coming and all that. Baba says, okay, if it has come, it has come. If it goes, let it go. Do not be attached to it. Do not think that it has come, that's why you are somebody great, and it has gone, so now you have fallen down, or you have sinned, or you have done something wrong, therefore it is gone. No. Baba's own very close people, they were clairaudience, clairvoyant and all that. And then when it went away, they were very depressed. Baba, of course, I used to get these visions and now it has gone. Baba said that was the time for which you required it. Now you have to grow. We have to grow over all these things till we get the final experience of the I am God state. Till that time it has no relevance. You can give it relevance by thinking that, oh, this incident happened to me, or this experience came to me, or somebody from the other side visited you, which is there. Astral world, Baba talks about astral world and semi-subtle world, which is just one step from the gross. It is not subtle. Subtle is, it is just, so there is a probability of communication with souls in the astral world or semi-subtle world, but it has nothing to do with spirituality, Baba says.
How do I achieve REM state, state of sleep? REM.
Rapid eye movement.
That's
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
That's a
REM state.
sound sleep. Sound sleep.
Sound sleep state, automatically you will get. If you really want to achieve a sound sleep state, don't sleep for 2-3 days. Automatically you will go in the sound sleep state without any effort. Yeah. Rapid eye movement is basically different, and sound sleep is basically where you are totally, not even in rapid eye, you do get some thoughts. It's like a dream, In the dream state, what you use is your subtle senses in a subconscious manner to see something happening, and they are very erratic. Sometimes you may see something else, it jumps from one subject to the other, you see, that way. So if you really want to go into sound sleep state, then my suggestion, don't sleep for 2-3 days, just say, I don't want to sleep. Automatically you will go into sound sleep. Because sound sleep is not just bodily requirement, it's a spiritual requirement as well, you see.
So meditation will help also.
Meditation will help in many ways, in many things, but Baba has given importance to meditation, there is no doubt about it. There are 7-8 chapters on meditation in discourses, but Baba's meditation is totally different from so-called bazari where when you see about meditation, focus on that, focus on breath. Baba has never given even any single exercise on breath control or breath meditation. No, that's meditation is totally different.
What is called...
1 minute. And above everything else, above meditation, above karma yoga, Raj yoga, bhakti yoga, whatever the Jnana yoga, is love. Above. And when we can capitalize and make use of that aspect of loving Baba in the most natural, spontaneous way, my thinking is, why would I like to go into any of these margas? That it is there. It will give you good karmas. And that good karma, again, you have to come back in the life in order to encash that goodness. Somebody has to do good to you. But whereas in real love is that which gives and does not expect anything in return. Real love is that where there is no thought of self. It is selfless. That is where our ego gets eradicated, and therefore Baba has emphasized the utmost on love. And Baba has given how to love God. That document is there, we can make. So I have no idea about all these meditations and other things because I have never done it, so I don't know. But I'm just, as a matter of information, Baba emphasized on love. Yeah, you have a question? Mike. Wait a minute. Bhakti yoga is devotion. Bhakti yoga.
Is Bhakti Yoga love? According
Baba says Bhakti yoga at its summit, then love gets created. If you do Bhakti yoga at its height, absolute height, then love is created. You see, and in Bhakti yoga, that is devotion. In devotion, you actually burden the beloved. In love, you take the burden from the beloved. We have done, there's a nice document between love and devotion, where Baba says, that in devotion you require the presence of the beloved. You are actually, you are giving, your burden to the beloved. Whereas in love, you actually are always concerned about the goodness and the well-being of your beloved, and trying to cut out your ego, the I-ness, in order to please the beloved. So there's a difference there.
like example is Meera ki bhakti.
That was Meera. Bhakti was so much at its summit that automatic, there was perfect bhakti. And therefore she, sorry? Yeah, I don't know why you want me to, why are you prompting me to say what is to you? Why don't you say you have equal rights? Anyway, what are you saying? Who? Meena Kumari. Okay, anyway, those are very high, like they're really loud. That's a different thing. Where they never cared about their own comfort, convenience is nothing. They were totally devoid of selfishness, totally devoid of the self, I, small I.
It is the bhakti that got her love. So any of the marg, whatever you have, eventually it is just to ignite love, which Baba is talking. Not
Any
in
other
this book.
questions? Any
Not
other
in this book.
questions? Anybody has? Yeah.
Meera.
Baba said anything about?
Meera,
Yes, of course.
what? Advanced soul.
Perfect master.
Soumya says she was a perfect master, but I don't know. I don't know. My answer would be I don't know. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Namita, bolo.
Yeah. Okay, so since you spoke about love, then we know that there are the precepts, obedience and love and surrender. So I just want to know if you don't mind, it's not in God Speaks,
I
it's
have
not
no
the
mind,
subject, as usual. But if you can speak a little on this and see how we can, and tell us a little as to how we can, through this path of surrender, obedience, either get to love or through love get to obedience and surrender, whatever is the way.
See, basically, Baba has made it so much easy for us by giving us a document called How to Love God. Now, the little that I remember, I can narrate. They are not the exact words, but I can say, to love God in the most practical way is to love our fellow beings. If we feel for others in the same way as we feel for our own near and dear ones, we love God. If instead of robbing others to help ourselves, we rob ourselves to help others, we love God. If instead of seeing fault in others, we see within ourselves, we love God. The greatest act of love for God is not to hurt or harm any of His beings. Somebody, are you seeing the law? See, thank you. Why don't you read out? It's a reading, she will read out. It's a very, Baba has made it so simple for us. Because many people say, Arey, Baba says, love God, love God. We don't even know what is God. Baba is now no more there. Now whom to love, what to love, how to love. So this is the document which is, go ahead, Swami.
How to Love God by Meher Baba. To love God in the most practical way is to love our fellow beings. If we feel for others in the same way as we feel for our own dear ones, we love God. If instead of seeing faults in others, we look within ourselves, we are loving God. If instead of robbing others to help ourselves, we rob ourselves to help others, we are loving God. If we suffer in the sufferings of others and feel happy in the happiness of others, we are loving God. If instead of worrying over our own misfortunes, we think ourselves more fortunate than many, many others, we are loving God. If we endure a lot with patience and contentment, accepting it as His will, we are loving God. If we understand and feel that the greatest act of devotion and worship to God is not to hurt or harm any of His beings, we are loving God. To love God as He ought to be loved, we must live for God and die for God, knowing that the goal of life is to love God and find Him as our own self.
So you got the answer. How to, if you start, we have to start somewhere. Many of us, we just keep thinking. And earlier on I had said that every little bit of so-called spiritual gyan that we get from Baba's literature and from any other literature, the thing is we have to start implementing that, start applying that in our life. And once we start applying that, the other day I had said that you can't get a whole roadmap in front of you. The moment you take the first step in consonance with what Baba wants us to be and to do, automatically there is the sensor lights are available. You take a step and the light will go on and you will see the next step. Then based on that light, you take the next step, then the light which had gone on will go off because there's no need. And that way, step by step by step by step, we try to please Baba. And once we do that, then automatically there's no need, there is a compass within ourselves where Baba will tell us what is right, what is wrong, what you do, what you don't do. And automatically you following that pathway. And Baba is there with us.
What you spoke of was the 7 realities that were given
No, that
by
is
Baba.
different. That
what
is different.
She said, she spoke about
No,
control
no.
and knowledge.
She talked about love, obedience, surrender, but that 7 realities is quite different. That
Because
is quite
that's
different.
all of those are also the 7
Yeah.
realities.
Yeah, mastery in servitude was the motto which Baba had adopted when he was in Manzile Meme at Dadar in Mumbai, and that became his motto for all of us to. But only mastery is with him. We cannot be masters of service because when we do any service, Baba says, real selfless service is that service in which the person who is serving does not even get a thought that he is serving. That is the meaning of selfless service. There should be no thought that I am obliging somebody, I am helping somebody, I am serving. That's a very high order, which the only way you can do it is, as we know in discourses, when I keep repeating this, we have to create or build a provisional ego, which is subservient to that of the master, which means that before starting anything, you have to be honestly honest and sincerely sincere and feel and believe that it is Baba who is doing through me. I am not the doer. It is He who is doing or getting done through me. And when the job is over, you simply offer it to Baba and forget about what is being done. Then perhaps that is one aspect of selfless service, and then perhaps we may attain that mastery in servitude. Perhaps this is all, if we do it ongoingly, continuously through our lifetime, maybe.
Did he give importance to having several visits to the Samadhi?
Sorry?
Visiting Samadhi, Meher Baba gave any importance to it?
After all, obviously, what is Samadhi is nothing but the physical garb or the form of the most ancient one, and the most recent one is kept there. So obviously at some level, when you do bow down to Samadhi, you are being benefited. But I'm sure you do. But if you ask me how, in what respect, I don't know. Because if it was, I can't say anything more than that. All I can say is, yes, it is beneficial to go and bow down to Baba. It is as if you are bowing down to Baba himself. And when you bow down to any perfect one, perfect master or the avatar, to a certain extent you do, if you are doing it sincerely, you do offload a lot of your samskaras, is what I believe in. I do believe that, yeah.
Just on a lighter note, one of the Mehrabad residents asked me, we were sitting and having lunch. He asked, am I a good Baba lover because I didn't visited the Samadhi during Silence Day?
See, the very fact is he asked you when you were having lunch, no? Means he was a real Baba lover. That means he was focusing on whether I am a Baba lover and not on the lunch. So, anyway, see, basically these are questions that will keep on bombarding us. Who is a Baba lover? Somebody who, Baba says that I have my lovers round the globe, who have not even heard my name. So he considers those people as his lovers. It's not just the label or a stamp that I am coming to Mehrabad or living in Mehrabad or bowing down to Baba Samadhi, so I become a lover. It's a very, I don't know. My answer would be, I don't know who is a Baba lover. I would want to feel that anybody who loves anybody sincerely, is a lover of God. Because ultimately, whosoever he is loving is God only, isn't it?
And a lover of God is a Baba lover.
Sorry.
And a lover of God is a Baba lover.
Yeah, any lover of God. Any lover of anybody. Baba says love in any form to anybody which is sincere, is love. And whenever anybody loves anybody, in a sense, he is loving Baba in that person. So, because Baba is omnipotent, omnipresent rather. So, he is in everyone and everything. So, if you love somebody, in a sense, you are loving Baba. I would say that way. And these are all, I keep on, that a kind of a... yeah, thank you. She's very quick at the short, Yeah, disclaimer. Disclaimer, these are my thoughts, and in the very first session also I had said, that whenever we interpret Baba's words, whenever I am giving out whatever little knowledge, if at all you call it knowledge is there, these are my thoughts. People may think differently. It's not that something that this is it. No, nothing like that. So there's a disclaimer that this is what I feel, that from what I have read in Baba's literature, Baba says that love in any form is a good thing. So you love because, and what is love exactly? I said just now, love is that which gives and does not expect anything in return. The highest form of love is, where you have no payoff. What am I going to get out of it? Why am I loving somebody? There's nothing. Disinterested love is one of the highest types of love. Disinterest means I have no interest in the object of my life. I am just going to love and give and do. I don't think of what is the payoff, what is the reward, what am I going to get out of it. That is love. I feel that way. Yeah.
Mr. Kersey was talking a lot about nightmares and whatever he sees, dreams and nightmares and all that.
Smell, that is because you use this for nightmare.
Nightmare
Can
or
I
what?
Smell. Because you
Dreams,
use this colon.
about
Colon.
dreams.
For
Vision
foreign-
and
foreign
dreams.
colon he is using. That's
Nahin,
why.
but is it true that a person who is normally like him, if he's continuously watching, means the karmas are unwinding?
In dream, you unwind samskaras, whether it's a nightmare or a good mare.
No, but is it true?
you are unwinding.
You're unwinding, ne?
Like how in the state of heaven and hell, you are only unwinding. There's no winding happening there. So that's why I sleep a lot, so that I dream a lot, so that there are a lot of unwinding happening.
So it is a good for you then?
It's good for you. Bhikkhu says it's good for you. We have got only 3 minutes more, but we can extend it.
In Hindi it is said, ज्ञान के बिना दर्शन नहीं, दर्शन के बिना खुदा नहीं. So accumulating knowledge is very necessary.
When they talk about
Superior wisdom के लिए.
When they talk about Gyan, they talk about capital K-N, K. That means that Gyan. And when you get that Gyan, you get the real darshan. Baba says that you are simply seeing my body and you are saying Baba ka darshan liya. That is not real darshan. That is the darshan of the shadow, of the form. The real darshan comes only, as you rightly say, when Gyan comes, you get the real darshan. And when real darshan comes, that is on the 6th plane of consciousness, where you are able to see God in everyone and everything. That is only one step below becoming one with God. So Gyan ke bina, it's a very profound statement. So this knowledge is not knowledge, this is only information. If you want to call it knowledge, Baba says this is the knowledge of ignorance. This knowledge that we are gathering is knowledge of ignorance. That knowledge is quite different. And for that knowledge, you don't have to study. It automatically comes. I remember an instance where Baba's sister Mani asked Baba as to how is it that our father Sheriyarji has so much knowledge, because he was not lettered, he did not go to school. You know, he was the keeper of silence with his father, and then he roamed around. So he was not in Tower of Silence. So how is it that he knows so many languages? He knew Hebrew, apart from this English, Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, all that, he knew so many Urdu languages. How is it that he knows? And there was a curtain like this. So Baba just removed the curtain. In other words, when the curtain of ignorance is removed, knowledge seeps in and comes in. There is no need for you to study. It automatically, spontaneously comes from within. Am I making sense? So that is what I remember having read Baba saying, that this is what he got the knowledge. All right, I think we are already done. We still have a minute more, and I don't mind going a little more, but I think Kersey has something to say.
Baba was not against science.
Never.
Okay, now medical science is not perfect, but it has advanced quite a lot. There are different specializations of human anatomy, and people make use of it. If we don't make use of it, then we suffer.
Correct.
So similarly, Creator has made the anatomy of the human body. Nothing is useless.
Correct.
Everything is important.
Correct.
So, apart from various, specializations, I find that the specialization for hand reading is not there.
Correct.
And this is also helpful. So,
I
why would Baba discourage anybody? in this?
Well, I have no answer for why Baba said or did something. I cannot answer Baba, that you could have asked Baba. But the point is, Baba says that all these things are there. They have their own relative importance in the thing, in the world of illusion or duality. It is important. But more important than that is what Baba talks about, the love, obedience and surrender, where when you do that, all these things take a secondary place. Even though, let us say, for example, in my palm it is written that accident will take place. Now, why is it written that accident will take place? Because I have sown the seeds in the past for that accident. Baba knows, but he will not stop that accident. He will say, allow it. Why? For a simple reason that is balancing out my sanskaras. So Baba, by and large, would never interfere in people's destiny. We know about this lady, I think Dhan Satta, who was paraplegic, I don't know, and somebody would hold her and bring, she could not walk, she was like this, like a vegetable you can say, and bring it to Baba, and she would smile at Baba and Baba would smile back at her, and she would just do like this, very difficult to even do namaskar. And when the ladies did ask Baba, why don't you, cure her? Baba said, like this I can make her run, but that will not be good for her. While my nazar is on her, she loves me so intently, we both love each other, she has no problem with being like this, let her finish off her karma. So in other words, these things are there, they are there from the past records, from a past karma, all this is there. But Baba would never get into that part because that is in the domain of illusion. Baba has come to pull us out of illusion into the domain of truth or reality, and for that all that is required is holding on to his Daman, to hold on to him. Now before I end the session, with absolute sincerity and honesty, we want to thank beloved Baba for giving us this opportunity to read his book, God Speaks, and try as best as we can to explain and interpret his words. And we only hope that we have pleased Baba in our endeavor to read and explain. And if we have made some blunders, which I am sure we would have made, then we seek his pardon and hope that he forgives us for that. And thank you, beloved Baba, and thanks to all of you for being a part of this game of reading Baba's literature. Tomorrow we are again meeting here at the same time, same place, 4:30, but God Speaks is over. I had done some synopsis, but I don't think that is required now. We will switch over to Baba's book called Beams from Meher Baba. That we'll do tomorrow. Thank you, beloved Baba, and thanks to all of you. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Jai Baba. Thank you. Thank you, Naman. Thank you, Meher Rochit. Thank you. Farzeen is there. Farzeen is fourth. Rakesh Acharya. Thanks to Farzeen and thanks to everybody else. And thank, of course, to the trustees who have given us this platform, because all this is going on the Trust's website, which is quite, we are thankful to them for that. Thank you, Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Jai Baba.